Hey guys, it's me Dominique coming at you guys with a new video. Actually, there are going to be 3 videos with this same shirt, same hair, same everything, because I'm going to go ahead and record the latest 3 episodes that I have not made a video for, and I'm going to go ahead and give my review for all 3. So this is going to be the first one. You're going to see 2 more videos with this same everything on, and I will also link each video in each video. So this video is going to be the review for the Housewives of Atlanta season 6 episode 17. I think I'm all off on the episode numbering as well, but you guys will get the gist as we go on. So this episode begins with Cynthia doing a little bit of shopping, and Nene walks in, and Nene's talking about she only wears 2 pieces. Nene is, to me, you know, I'm not going to even say anything about Nene and her body in a 2-piece. I'm going to just let that roll. Anywho, so they're shopping, talking about different stuff. So, Cynthia brings up the fact that Kenya is planning a couple's trip, so we're wondering if her African-Nigerian prince is going to show up. That's what I said last review when she was planning this couple's trip. I was thinking the same thing. Okay, are you going to introduce the girls in the world and everybody, the fans of Real Housewives of Atlanta, to your Nigerian prince? Obviously, it didn't happen. And then she also brings up the whole Bailey Boat incident. But see, Cynthia is very passive-aggressive. So she brought up the whole Bailey Boat incident. Instead of her saying, yeah, let's talk about the whole Bailey Boat that you and your drama ruined, Nene, she just was like being a passive-aggressive around it. So she left room for Nene to check her and say, I'm not going to talk about it, yada, 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 let's move on, or whatever. Next scene goes into Marlo's apartment. Marlo's place. I don't know if it's an apartment. I've heard it was an apartment, condo, whatever. So the next thing goes into that, and Kenya and Kenya having a conversation. So Marlo talks about how Nene's upset with her, and Nene's giving her the cold shoulder and not friends with her because she's friends with Kenya. And she's like, well, you know, I'm an adult. I'm gonna be friends with whoever I'm gonna be friends with, and if Nene has a problem with that, that's her business. I'm not gonna kiss Nene's ass because that's what Nene wants. Nene doesn't want a friend; she wants to ask her to. Now, granted, I think Marlo makes a point in saying, yeah, I'm not gonna kiss Nene's ass because I do feel like Nene does want ass kisses around her. But in the same token, I feel like when you have a genuine friendship with somebody, if the person you're friends with does not fuck with that person, I feel like it should be just like, okay, for instance, you guys know I've spoken about my best friends. You guys have seen videos with them in it. I have 2 best friends. If they don't fuck with somebody like that, I'm not going to be sitting and saying, oh, this is my new friend now, having lunch with this person, doing all types of stuff that I would do with my friends with this person. I'm not saying I wouldn't speak to that person, not because that's not being an adult. But I would be cordial with that person. I would be good with that person, because I feel like if you hurt my friend, you've hurt me. So that's how I feel. That's my take on that. And I feel like if Marlo and Nene were genuinely those type of friends, then Marlo would have been on that. But because they're not, then she's not on that. And then I feel like when they say Marlo is an opportunist, it makes sense, because the only way I would be, if I was a genuine friend to Nene, the only way I would be friends the way Marlo and Kenya is friends is if it was on a business level, and even then it would be strictly business. Which this friendship can probably be for Marlo business type situation, but she's masking it as a new friendship, which makes sense on why they call Marlo an opportunist. Is Phaedra, Apollo, and the kids. Aiden speaks very well, which I'm not surprised at, because I've had an Aiden. My son was speaking very clearly from the time he was 2, and to the point, not even 2. He was speaking clearly before he was 2, but he just started to speak after he turned 2. But from the time my son was like 15 months, he was speaking very clearly. And my son didn't start walking until he was 15, 16 months. So he was actually speaking to people, having full sentences, and he was crawling. So like the whole, Aiden speaking very well, it's not like, oh my God for me, because I have one of those. So one time we were in the store, I'll never forget, and like I said, my son didn't start walking until he was 15 months, so he had to be like a year at the time. And we went in the store, and he was in the shopping cart, and we were in line, and he was like, Mommy, I'm so frustrated sitting in here. I want to get out. And we were going back and forth, because I'm like, you can't walk, so you're not getting out the shopping cart. When you learn how to walk, then you can get out the shopping cart. So, but yeah, that was my like quick little side story, quick little side note. The next thing is, oh yeah, let me go back to that. So, Phaedra and Apollo. Phaedra's not sure if she wants to go because she doesn't want to be placed in a situation where she's disrespected. And of course, clearly, the episodes goes on. We see that where Phaedra was trying to avoid that, she didn't. So, but yeah, you see how that whole conversation went. Then the next thing goes into Cordell and Peter meeting up. Finally, we kind of get the gist of Cordell's side of the story about what happened. So, I'm not like all the way, I don't feel like Peter did anything wrong by going to meet up with Cordell, because obviously from what was said, him and Cordell was friends. Maybe, the powers that be set it up for Peter and Cordell to seem like friends, so he can go, so we can hear what Cordell has to say, whatever. So, but I'm not mad at the fact that Peter met up with Cordell, because we needed to hear Cordell's side of the story. Then Peter goes into saying how he understands. So the Cordell's side of the story is that her family was in their marriage more than they should have been, and Peter understands this because obviously he's dealt with his mother-in-law and his sister-in-law, and even more recently with Mel coming to stay and not even saying anything, just stopping by and just dropping by and act like it's okay. So he understands where Cordell is coming from, which everything starts to make sense, because then Portia says how her family wasn't allowed, but in a sense, your husband feels some type of way about your family being around because they overstep boundaries. So you can't get mad at him if he's saying, well, damn, your mom and stuff, like, they can't be coming over here because they don't know how. Like, there's nowhere your mom should be in our bedroom, me and you, in our bed eating pizza, like. So, it kind of coincides with what she says, but then again, she paints Cordell to be somebody different, but then again, Cordell paints Portia to be somebody different. So, it's like, it's three sides to the story. His side, her side, and the truth. Cordell also did not get a prenup with Portia, which kind of leads you to believe that he kind of felt like either he was in love with Portia, or he felt like whatever arrangement they had, she had his back. So he didn't feel the need to get a prenup. But in the same token, he didn't get a prenup, but Portia didn't have 100% access to his finance and everything, because her name wasn't on the house, her name wasn't on any account. So basically, she couldn't do nothing unless Cordell said she could do something. Her name wasn't on anything, and that's crazy. And it's like Portia, for everything you painted yourself to be in that marriage into Cordell, obviously it's like some of it doesn't match up, because if you claim to be his wife and his wife the way you feel like a wife should have been, you should have thought more of yourself to consider yourself more of an equal to Cordell than you were. Even if you were bringing in money or not, at the end of the day, even if Cordell was the only one bringing in income, you're still his wife. You're still supposed to be his rib, on his side, not behind him, not in front of him. And you didn't think much of yourself to gain access to certain things that were supposed to be for the both of you guys. It's like you were just content with the lifestyle. It's like you were being young and dumb, or just dumb because you were just content with the lifestyle. As long as you was getting out of the lifestyle what you were getting, You didn't think enough of yourself to say, okay, this is me and you. Yeah, this is your money, you come in, but this, I'm your wife. I'm taking care of home. I'm taking care of kids. So this is me and you. It's like you didn't think much of yourself to say that, long as you was living the lifestyle that you wanted to live, which was crazy to me. So the next scene goes into Kenya and Lawrence heading to the resort or whatever, the hotel, before everyone else. Lawrence gets offended that he's called sir because he's a lady. He's a lady. But Lawrence, no. I'm going to just leave that alone. So then, Kenya's in the confessional talking about how, you know, her and Nene aren't on the best of terms, but you say keep your friends close and your enemies closer. My thing is, Kenya, why are you, if you got enemies, why are your enemies invited to a couple's trip? But then again, your whole couple's trip don't even make no sense, because you invite your enemies to a couple's trip with your gay girlfriend friend instead of your man on a couple's trip. This is a couple's trip, so your man should be on a couple's trip, not your gay friend, not your gay guy friend. That's just, that whole couple's trip just was stupid. A couple's trip with enemies and not the other side of your couple. Tells on Kenya part, of course, Kenya being shady. Then it's like, okay, Peter, well, Portia brings something up, and then Peter brings, I guess, defends the fact that he's all up in their business. And then Greg jumps up in the business. And then I think, at first, I was like, Nene, you should check Greg. But then Greg was making some type of sense. But then I felt some type of way about all the men jumping on Portia. And I felt like then Portia should have just checked it and said, look, that was my marriage, my business. I'm not going to sit here and defend it. Which she kind of did, but didn't do. Like, she did that and then took it back because she kept explaining herself. And then she went from explaining herself to talking about Cordell being, like, throwing a little subliminals about Cordell being gay, and then throwing more subliminals about money issues. Then it kind of seems like, okay, what was really the issue? What was really going on with y'all, Portia? Like, what was really the deal with y'all marriage? Now you're pinning, because she, instead of Portia checking it and leaving it where it was, she started to talk so much to defend it that she was digging herself in a hole, and then it started to look like she was lying, which she probably was lying about certain things. And then that whole episode, I think, kind of ends with Nene and Greg talking about their marriage and how they were able to resolve certain things. And I agree with them. So